Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to make some DIY corner kitchen floating shelves. Now, by any means, I'm not a professional carpenter, nor do I claim to be. However, I like a good DIY. And a lot of the DIYs that I've done in the past, let's just say my brain matter needs something more. So I did price out and look into a couple different floating shelves for my kitchen. They were either A, too expensive, or B, didn't have the customized sizes I needed. So I decided, with a little bit of research on the internet, to build my own corner kitchen floating shelves. So here I am cutting down some wood. The two pieces that I'm cutting down right now are to go on the sides of the floating shelf. And I have all the size, dimensions, and cuts over on my blog. So make sure you head over there and check that out for all the details. And you can customize this any way, shape, or form. And to be honest with you, power tools can be a little intimidating, but I think with practice, it gets a little bit easier. So now I'm dry fitting everything together, and then I'm gluing it with wood glue before I actually put nails in there with the brad nailer. I've never worked with the brad nailer before. This will be my first try or attempt in this video, so that's going to be interesting. And that is what we're doing here. So at this point, I'm making two shelves. One is longer and the other one is shorter, and now I'm working on the second shelf. Okay, so while the wood glue is drying and I'm waiting for my nail brad or brad nailer to come, we are going to figure out what type of stain we're going to use for these floating shelves. So I have this stain right here, which is called Golden Oak. I have a big jug of this, and I also have some of this Weather Oak, which a couple of DIYers recommend. So we're going to try that and a piece of wood. And then I also picked this up for 90% off. It was $1. And I really like the colors. So I'm going to stain like a piece of scrap wood to see what color wood type I want. I want it to blend in to the cabinets I currently have in the space right now, but I want it to look modern and not old-fashioned. Okay, so here we are with the three different stains. I do know that they're a little blotchy, so you're not going to get like a perfect look of it because you want to prep your wood, but this is just on a piece of scrap wood. And I like all three of them in a different way. I just feel that this one is the Weather Oak is a little too light. However, I feel like this one that I got on clearance for $1, which I believe is called, let me see what it's called. I'm not sure. Oh, it's called Barn. No, it's not called Barn. It's called Barren Smoke. Barren Smoke. It's called Barren Smoke. This one is just a little too like giving off like a gray or a darker color, which I do love it. Here it is over here on this piece. I do like it. It's very rustic and it's giving the vibe I want, but I'm not sure if it's going to work in the space. And then here is the Golden Oak. So I almost feel like between the Golden Oak and the Weather, I believe it's called Weather Oak, are the two that I really like. It's like I just want it in between. So maybe once I condition the wood, I might start with the Golden Oak and then maybe blotch it with some of the Weather Oak and see if I can like thin it out a little, or vice versa, and play with it a little bit more and see what I can get with it. And then we'll go from there. So now I'm taking this Ryobi nail finisher or nail gun, if that's what you call it, and I'm basically putting nails into the wood around the pieces to connect the sides and the top and the bottom together. So I'm doing from the long end, I'm probably doing like 5 nails, and on the shorter end probably 3, and then that way it's ready to go. Now, I did go through with wood filler that is stainable and filled in anything with gouges, gashes, or seams a little bit. I don't think you necessarily need to do this. I found that it was kind of tedious and it didn't really make too much of a difference. I think if you're painting it, it might make a difference, but for staining, I don't think it's gonna make too much difference. So once everything was nailed down, I went ahead and sanded everything down and then wiped it down with the semi-damp cloth to get any of the residue of the sawdust off. Here's a little trick to make sure you don't miss any pieces when you're sanding something is just take a pencil and thinly scribble some scribbles onto your wood, and then that way you know that your sander has hit those spots and you've given it a nice clean finish. So I do this on the top, the bottom, and the sides. So after everything is sanded and you wiped everything down and it's completely dry, you're going to go ahead and spread wood conditioner all over your shelves. Now, I did this the night before, and then the next day is a good time to go and stain because you'll make sure that the wood conditioner is completely dry before you go and stain. Once that happens, I give it an overnight drying time. I went ahead and used 2 different stains to stain everything. Once that dried, the next day after that, or later in the workday, so about 8 hours later, I went ahead and put a polyurethane and matte finish on the top and sides. Now, I did a couple layers of this because I didn't like the look of it, so I did about 3 layers of the polyurethane. Once I did that, it was time to assemble the shelves to my corner in the kitchen. So the final step was adding the brackets to the wall. So on one side of the wall, I put 2 brackets, and on the other one, I did 3. I needed that extra support because the brackets didn't go evenly in studs because that space only had so many studs, and I needed the shelf to go in that area because that's where I want it. So with heavy duty anchors and a drill, I was managed to fight with the shelf and get it up there where it looked perfect and even to the naked eye. My house is older, so I had to manipulate it a little bit, but I wanted something durable to display nice items and things that I use on a regular basis in a pretty way. Okay, so this is the first time I guess I did anything like this. I'm happy finally. It is not perfect, but I did finally manage to figure out how to build 2 floating shelves for my kitchen. I think they took turned out great. Eventually I'm going to paint my walls, which you can see right there. I had to actually patch that little hole there because there was that picture frame hanging over there. With that being said, I am happy. It looks great with the backsplash. I decorated it. I try to decorate it with things that I use on a regular basis, such as my sourdough lame, some bowls, cutting board, and things like that. I like to keep my tools accessible on the counter as well on the scale. So I think it all came out really great. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you want more DIY budget-friendly projects in the future, let me know in the comments below. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Over on the blog, I'll have all the cuts and how I did it all more in depth. If you're more one of those people that likes to read directions like me, head on over there, and I'll also link where I bought everything. So I hope you're having a fabulous day, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.